everything. Everybody said you should do that, you should do that, you should do that, but it's hard to do it, so you have to do it.
At 46, Andre the Giant remains one of the most imposing figures ever to step inside a WWE ring. His arrival changed the atmosphere instantly. Arenas grew quieter for a second and then erupted. Wrestlers paid attention the moment his footsteps echoed through the corridor. No performer of his era carried the same mix of size, mystique, and authority. His presence alone rewrote the rhythm of a match, a promo, and even a backstage conversation. Fans did not view Andre like a superstar. They viewed him like an event, something rare, something unforgettable. He transformed small territories into major attractions and turned national shows into global spectacles. Long before WWE reached mainstream dominance, Andre already operated on a scale the business had never seen. He traveled relentlessly, wrestled through pain few understood, and carried the company's momentum through the toughest stretches of the Golden Era. Every major name of the time built their legacy in part because Andre allowed the business to grow around him. But the gentle reputation told only half the story. Behind the calm face was a veteran who valued respect above everything. He could be warm, he could be generous, he could be patient. What he never tolerated was arrogance or carelessness. Disrespect set him off immediately. Reckless workers irritated him. Loud egos annoyed him. Cheap shots angered him. Andre believed every wrestler had a responsibility to protect the craft, and he treated violations of that code as personal offenses. Stories from the road speak for themselves. Veterans whisper about nights when Andre made a point. Younger wrestlers recall moments when he corrected bad behavior with a single look or a single move. Among all the tales, 5 opponents stand apart. 5 names that triggered real anger. 5 wrestlers he refused to forgive. And now we look back at the man whose presence shaped a new era of WWE and changed the business forever. Andre the Giant was born in rural France, far from the bright lights that later defined his life. His massive size appeared early and changed the path ahead of him. By the time he reached adulthood, he already looked like a mythical figure. Wrestling discovered him quickly, and every promoter who saw him understood that audiences would react in a way they had never reacted before. His journey from small European rings to the biggest stages in North America happened fast because no one else offered what Andre offered. He brought scale and credibility to every show he touched. Inside the locker room, he became more than a special attraction. He acted as the quiet anchor for an entire generation. Younger wrestlers approached him with caution and respect. Veterans recognized the responsibility placed on his shoulders. Andre valued professionalism. He valued men who protected their opponents and honored the craft. Anyone who broke that code faced his disapproval. As WWE expanded, his presence shaped its identity. Fans saw him as the giant who defined the company. Wrestlers saw him as the standard they had to meet. In the next section, we explore how 5 men tested that standard and paid the price. Number 5 is Jake the Snake Roberts. Their friction came from fear, instinct, and personality. Andre respected tough men. He respected workers who hit hard but protected the business. What he could not handle was Jake's style. Jake built tension with silence. He spoke softly, moved slowly, and made every glance feel like a threat. Andre disliked that approach because it shifted the match away from physical struggle and towards psychological tricks. To him, that was not wrestling. That was manipulation. The biggest problem was the python. Andre never pretended to be comfortable around snakes. The fear had been with him since childhood. When Jake entered the ring with that massive reptile wrapped around his shoulders, Andre reacted with real anxiety. He turned away. He stepped back. Fans thought it was performance art. Wrestlers knew it was genuine. Andre believed Jake pushed the stunt too far. He felt Jake cared more about a dramatic entrance than the safety or dignity of the locker room. Backstage, the tension intensified. Jake enjoyed long promos. He stretched every second, delivered slow monologues, and let the silence work for him. Andre viewed that as self-centered. He wanted wrestlers to share this, told agents that Jake ignored timing cues and dragged segments out beyond the plan. Andre appreciated showmanship but disliked performers who used unpredictability to stand out at the expense of others. Inside the ring, their chemistry was awkward. Andre refused to show weakness on command. When Jake hinted that the python would appear, Andre shut down emotionally. He did not give Jake the dramatic reactions the storyline needed. Instead, he stayed rigid and serious. Some nights he even waved Jake off, making it clear he wanted to end the segment fast. Jake tried to keep the drama alive, but Andre wanted no part of it. One night, Jake claimed that Andre briefly collapsed out of fear. The story grew larger over time. Wrestlers who were present said Andre did not hit the ground, but admitted he looked shaken. The giant hated being caught vulnerable. That moment deeply bothered him. Jake retold the story with a sense of victory. Andre never forgave that. Their rivalry lasted only a few years, but the emotions behind it never faded. Fans remember the giant shrinking in front of a python. Wrestlers remember the quiet resentment backstage. Jake saw it as creative expression. Andre saw it as disrespect. That conflict secured Jake Roberts a permanent spot on Andre's list of enemies he never forgot. Number 4 is Big John Studd. Their tension was not a storyline invention. It was rooted in pride, size, and an unspoken battle for territory inside the ring. Studd arrived in WWE with one goal. He wanted to be seen as the only true giant other than Andre. That ambition irritated Andre from the start. Andre had spent years carrying the company on his back. He felt he had earned the right to stand alone as the attraction no one could match. When Studd stepped in and acted like an equal, Andre took it personally. The earliest issue came during practice sessions. Studd liked to test strength. He pushed against Andre longer than necessary. He held clinches with more force than expected. Several wrestlers recalled Andre leaving the ring angry after Studd tried to show he could move the giant. Andre viewed this behavior as a direct challenge, not friendly competition. He respected confidence but rejected anyone who tried to prove superiority behind the curtain. Their matches reflected this hostility. Andre hit harder when he disliked someone, and Studd felt that power every night they shared a ring. Studd delivered stiff forearms. Andre responded with heavier chops. Both men refused to give ground. Their rivalry became a real test of who controlled the match. Crowds loved the collision between two massive bodies. Wrestlers backstage watched knowing that neither man was holding back. Even referees understood that stepping between them required caution. The body slam challenge became the centerpiece of their feud. It was more than a stunt. It was a matter of pride. Studd claimed Andre could not slam him. Andre decided to prove he could do it whenever he wanted. The nights leading up to the showdown carried genuine tension because Andre believed Studd used the challenge to create the impression that he was close to Andre's level. That implication angered him. Andre valued hierarchy. Studd ignored it. Away from the ring, the situation never softened. Andre rarely spoke to Studd unless necessary. Other wrestlers recalled dinners where Andre asked for a different table just to avoid him. When agents planned matches, Andre agreed only because the feud drew money, not because he wanted to participate. His respect toward most opponents did not extend to Studd. When the rivalry finally ended, the heat remained. Studd had power and athleticism, but Andre never accepted him as a peer. To Andre, Studd crossed a line by trying to elevate himself through provocation. That is why Big John Studd holds the 4th spot on Andre's list of wrestlers he never forgave. Number 3 is the Ultimate Warrior. This rivalry grew from chaos, impatience, and pure physical recklessness. Warrior entered WWE like a storm. He sprinted to the ring at full speed. He shook ropes until they nearly snapped. He attacked with explosive bursts that ignored rhythm and structure. Andre watched this behavior with concern. He believed every match required control and respect. Warrior worked with intensity but ignored those rules. That lack of discipline triggered immediate anger. The first clashes exposed the problem. Warrior hit the ropes and charged into Andre without slowing down. The contact landed high on the chest and shoulder. Andre felt the impact in ways no giant should ever feel. Other wrestlers tried to warn Warrior to calm down. Warrior brushed off the advice. He felt his style made him unique. Andre viewed it as dangerous. The frustration built with every loop around the ring because Warrior refused to adjust his speed. Andre reached a point where patience disappeared. During one match, he waited in the corner as Warrior blasted toward him again. Instead of reckless workers would be corrected the hard way. Warrior slowed down after that moment, but the respect never formed. Andre disliked men who ignored the safety of opponents. He valued athletes who protected the legacy of the ring. Warrior pushed himself as the unstoppable force of a new generation. Andre felt he acted like someone who believed rules did not apply to him. Their communication backstage remained cold. Andre spoke rarely. Warrior pretended nothing had happened. That disconnect turned small issues into a long-lasting grudge. Their matches continued because fans loved the clash. Giant power met electric energy. The dynamic looked incredible on television. Behind the scenes, it stayed tense. Andre timed every movement with precision, while Warrior delivered power with unpredictable angles. Some nights, Andre walked out of the ring frustrated. Other nights, he remained silent, but clearly disappointed. Warrior could energize a crowd, but he could not win Andre's trust. The tension became legendary. Wrestlers passed down stories about Andre refusing to let chaos define the match. The lessons stayed with younger generations who later said Andre taught the company how to handle unsafe performers. That is why the Ultimate Warrior holds the 3rd spot on Andre's list of wrestlers he never forgave. Number 2 is the Iron Sheik. Their conflict flowed from personality, ego, and clashing attitudes toward the wrestling business. Sheik was loud, proud, and unpredictable. He spoke his mind in locker rooms, cars, airports, and anywhere someone would listen. Andre preferred calm spaces. He liked quiet conversations and respected workers who kept their words controlled. Sheik's volume and constant bragging irritated him almost immediately. The earliest issues surfaced during travel days. Sheik boasted about his Olympic background. He reminded everyone how strong he was. He made jokes about Andre's weight. None of this sat well with the giant. Andre did not enjoy being mocked. He disliked behavior that disrupted the peace before long tours or major events. When Sheik teased him repeatedly, Andre responded with cold silence. Others recognized the danger. When Andre grew quiet, anger was brewing. Inside the ring, their tension showed. Sheik was skilled and technical, but also unpredictable. He worked snug in many matches and tightened holds when emotions ran high. Andre despised that approach. He wanted opponents who protected their partners while making the action look real. Sheik sometimes crossed lines, especially when trying to prove his toughness. Andre answered with heavy grapples. He would lean his full weight on Sheik during tie-ups and hold him down as a warning. Fans saw powerful exchanges. Wrestlers saw discipline being enforced. One night backstage, the situation reached a breaking point. Sheik made another joke about Andre's size at a catering table. Andre looked at him without expression and told him to leave. Sheik tried to laugh it off. Andre repeated the order with force in his voice. Sheik backed away. Everyone in the room understood the message. Andre tolerated jokes from friends, but not from men who tried to boost their reputation at his expense. Despite the tension, they continued working together because the matches drew attention. The contrast between a massive giant and a loud villain created instant drama. Cameras captured the energy. Audiences reacted with excitement. Behind the curtain, the relationship never warmed. Andre remained polite but distant. Sheik sensed the barrier, but his personality made change difficult. The feud became part of WWE history. It mixed national pride, classic storytelling, and real emotions. Sheik respected Andre's strength, but never earned his trust. Andre acknowledged Sheik's technical ability, yet never forgave the attitude that made every room louder than necessary. That is why the Iron Sheik stands at number 2 on Andre's list of wrestlers he never forgave. Number 1 is Randy Macho Man Savage. Their tension began with a detail that sounded small but carried huge weight in the wrestling world. Savage covered his body in baby oil before nearly every match. He believed it helped his look and added shine under arena lights. Andre hated it. He considered excessive oil a sign of vanity and a safety risk. When the skin became too slick, holds slipped, and basic moves turned unpredictable. Andre valued control. Savage valued appearance. Those two philosophies collided every night they shared a ring. Andre confronted Savage early in their partnership. He told him to wipe the oil off before the match. Savage laughed at first because many wrestlers used oil. Andre did not raise his voice. He simply repeated the instruction with a tone that demanded respect. Savage cleaned up but continued using heavy amounts on other nights. Andre noticed. He grew frustrated. He felt Savage ignored a simple request that came from experience and concern for safety. The clashes extended beyond appearance. Savage worked fast. He jumped into sequences without checking timing cues. He pushed the pace to keep crowds invested, and sometimes skipped moments meant for recovery. Andre disliked chaos in the ring. He wanted clean transitions and precise execution. Savage tested limits with every explosive drop, elbow, and rope run. When Andre said he delivered chops that rattled Savage, he used his size to trap him in corners until he calmed down. None of these actions were meant to injure him. They were reminders. Savage needed to respect the structure of the match as well as the men he shared the ring with. Backstage, their relationship stayed complicated. Savage admired Andre's legacy but struggled to adapt to his expectations. Andre appreciated Savage's passion yet remained bothered by the oil, the speed, and the constant push for attention. Their personalities were too different to align. One valued slow force, the other chased fast impact. Even with friction, they produced memorable matches. Audiences saw fire and power blended into one of the most iconic dynamics of the era. Inside the locker room, people knew the truth. Savage stood at the top of Andre's list of rivals who irritated him the most. He embodied every trait Andre disliked in a partner who refused to listen. That combination secured Randy Macho Man Savage as the #1 name Andre the Giant never forgave. Andre the Giant shaped WWE in ways no other performer could match. His presence influenced locker room culture, touring schedules, and the very structure of major events. Every rivalry he carried told a different story, but the 5 names in this countdown revealed the part of Andre most fans never saw. He judged people by their respect for the business. He valued discipline. He expected opponents to protect each other while delivering a performance strong enough to honor the profession he helped build. Jake Roberts tested Andre's fear and patience. Big John Studd challenged his territory and pride. The Ultimate Warrior ignored control and worked at a reckless pace. The Iron Sheik irritated him with loud ego and bruising behavior. Randy Savage pushed the limits with appearance, speed, and stubborn confidence. Each man brought out a different reaction from Andre, yet the pattern remained. He disliked performers who broke the unspoken code that guided veterans for decades. The truth behind these grudges shows how deeply Andre cared about wrestling. He did not target opponents out of personal insecurity. He reacted when he felt the craft was threatened. Younger wrestlers learned lessons simply by watching how he handled trouble. Veterans understood that Andre represented the standard for toughness and professionalism. Looking back, these 5 rivalries shaped some of the most memorable moments of the Golden Era. Andre's reactions carried weight because everyone knew he meant every second of it. His legacy endures not only through iconic matches, but through the discipline he demanded from the men who stepped into his world. Which rivalry surprised you the most?